we were told that the FRA was not used, it was misused, people were not asked questions. Can you give us, how you feel the FRA was not used?
The FRA is very clearly modeled and is given a format as to how an FRA process or a meeting and for a Gram Sabhas can take place. Secondly, the meetings that were were conducted under the Gram Sabhas of Lakshmi Nagar, Shastri Nagar, and other settler community villages where there's no tribal community who has rights over the forest. So that's the first and big flaw of claiming or kind of seeking to claim that an FRA meeting has been conducted for diversion of forest land amongst people who have no rights to those forests. Actually, the rightful owners of those forests are the tribal communities.
It's like doing FRA in Delhi.
Exactly.
Let's not do it in Chhattisgarh or Jharkhand. Let's do it in Delhi.
Delhi. And you and I are people who are non-tribals who are responding on behalf of somebody else. It doesn't make sense at all.
Right.
So the second issue is just having one person on board as a tribal community person, as a representative of the entire tribal community is also not correct. There are stipulated norms and the numbers of people who will be present in those lands, and one person can't sign off on the lands of diversion of somebody else's lands. Yep. So it's a very clear-cut violation of the norms and the rules through the FRA. In 2018, under the aegis of the Niti Aayog, there was a subcommittee formed. I was also part of it, and our objective was to try and record and report on from the ground as to how the tribal communities responded to this entire proposal. And it is very clear that the settler communities had a yearning for development, and they still do. They have been denied and been apathetic to the developmental needs of the community there. Whereas the Nicobaris were very clear that they did not want tourism on in their villages or their land. They wanted to be left alone to carry on their own lives. And most important was actually the Shompen, who we interviewed and got on camera.
तो ये बोलता है जंगल सफाई करने से इधर करो, नाली समुद्र किनारे में कर दो, हम लोग का पहाड़ में चढ़ना नहीं, टिकरी बिल्कुल चढ़ना नहीं.
Shompen, both women and men, only one man is there in the video, which is not made public, but where both the old lady and the man says, please do not come into our forest. These are our forests where we feed our children. And that voice has not been adhered to or heard from the people concerned.
Tell us a little bit about the destruction of coral and, this idea that they suddenly said the coral doesn't exist. I mean, I was shown older map of coral and then a new map where suddenly there's no coral.
It's true that if you compare that map between 20 and 21, corals have disappeared, which definitely raises sort of serious concerns. Another interesting point is that these reefs are fringing reefs. So in official documents that where they've changed the map, they've also called these reefs as atoll reefs, which is not true. These are all fringing reefs. They start growing from as shallow as 1 feet and they go down up to 25 meters. And they, of course, grow in areas where they need sunlight because the animals, they need photosynthesis. So they grow in up to 25 meters. So they are found everywhere. And definitely in terms of damage, if there is a proposed project it goes ahead, there's definitely going to be big impact to the corals. Another point is which is that corals are under Schedule 1 of the Indian Wildlife Protection Act, which means they have given highest level of legal protection, as stringent as what tiger gets. So killing a coral is as a punishable offense as what you have for tigers. And that is something which is not spoken about.
So destroying Nicobar corals is as if you're killing hundreds and hundreds of tigers in India. That's the same.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You're basically wiping out a huge chunk of valuable resource for India, a biological resource for India. And it's similar to essentially destroying Project Tiger.
Coral reefs, of course, they provide home to a variety of associated organisms. So that's also something to consider. And some of the species are endemic. They're not found anywhere else. So there are a lot of associated fauna which will also get impacted. And one more point which I want to mention is that sort of coral reefs, when we talk about it, of course, they provide habitat, they boost fish diversity, all of that is there, but they also sequester a lot of carbon. Right. So they are big carbon sinks. So they are very important from that point of view. So it's not just biological diversity or the spectacularness, but there is also the role, the ecological role that they play.